Hi, this is Julie with Three Sisters Sundries. I have all of the signatures for my swap, and so there's 4 of them, and I am going to start on my cover today. I have pre-cut some cardboard, and I have 2 layers glued together because I knew the size I wanted for the front cover, but I haven't cut my spine because I didn't know how wide to make it. So to figure that out, I'm going to put all my signatures together with my covers, one on either side, and then just kind of stack them so that there's room for expansion, but not so much that it's going to be 6 inches wide or anything. They're pretty fat, but I want to be able to close it without it spreading to look like that, but I can kind of hold it closed with a tie. So I'm going to put it on my board here and just see about what looks good. And I think if I did a 2-inch spine, I would be just fine. That'll give me room for closure, but room also for those signatures to fit in there without getting too squashed. So maybe 2.5 would be better. They're pretty thick. 2.5 maybe. So I have this cardboard, so I'm just going to cut this down. It looks like I've already cut it to the length I need. So I'm just going to cut at 2.5 inches and do two layers and then glue them together. So there's 1. And 2. So I'm going to use Fabri-Tac because it won't soak into the paper and make it warp at all. So I'm just going to spread a nice thin coating on the outside and on the inside, and then I'm going to spread it around a little bit with my finger to make sure all the areas are covered. And then put my 2 pieces together. And I'm going to just set something heavy on that so it will dry, and then I will be back to work on the rest of my cover. So I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, I'm back and I've got my spine glued together, the 2 layers glued together, and it's dry. So now on to figuring out what I want to do to cover this. So I found this fabric with these birds and hearts on it, and I thought that would be cute because this is a Valentine themed book. So I'm going to cut this to size, but it's kind of thin, so I'm afraid that the cover would show through and look not as cute. So I found a video by C. Lemon, how to make your own book cloth, and I will link to it in the description. So what I'm going to do is cut this to size and then use where's my heat and bond? Right here. Use this Ultra Hold Heat and Bond, and then so iron that on my fabric and then iron on a piece of tissue paper. So I found a nice thick piece of tissue paper. So I will be doing that and ironing everything, and I will be back. Okay, I'm back and I've got my book cloth all made. I've pressed my piece of fabric and I've ironed on the Heat and Bond with a layer of tissue. So it's nice and sturdy now and not so transparent, but not so see-through. So I'd like to decorate the cover before I put it on my cardboard. So I'm going to lay my covers and my spine out and see about where it's going to go, and I need some way to transfer that to the front. So I think what I'll do is maybe draw a line on the back with a pencil. And then maybe stitch a basting line around here so that I can see where I need to decorate. So let's see, this is going to be the front, so I will also draw a line there. And maybe a line here in case I decide I want to put something on the back. And then that will also give me a line as to where my spine will be in case I want to put something on there too. So do that, and then I will go baste around this so I can see it from the front, and I will be right back. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. I've got a pink basting stitch around where my front cover is, and my spine and my back cover. So I've been thinking about what I want to do with this cover, and since these signatures aren't as cutesy as the fabric, I would kind of like to add a little bit of something here to kind of tone that down a little bit. So I know this is kind of cutesy in itself too, but I have this pink gingham that I've had in my stash for years and years, probably 30 years. And anyway, so it's definitely junk journal worthy. So I'm going to, I think, cut out a little square here and maybe do a stamp on some twill tape or something on here. So I'm gonna we'll just cut a little piece here while I have this over here. And trim it up kind of square. And make sure I don't have any selvages. Okay, and so that will go on there, and I'll just roughly stitch around, and then I'm going to pull some threads on the ends so that it frays a little bit. I really like that look of a little bit of fraying with the stitching around. And then but I also have this trim that I just got at the thrift store that is tiny and cute. So maybe I will even stitch that around the edge. I might stitch that around the edge and then fray. So I will go do that and be right back. Okay, I've got my piece of fabric stitched down, my cute little gingham with my little lace trim, and I've pulled some of the threads so that it's a little bit frayed around the edge. And I found some white twill tape that will work, but in all the stamps I found, they are all a little bit too big for, maybe this one would work, but I remembered I had leftover puffy hearts from the signature I was working on, and I also found this little Be Mine. So I think what I'll do is put a little of this twill tape on and stamp on there and then sew that on. So I need some ink. I'll be right back. Okay, I am back with my ink. I am going to use black StazOn because I only have black and brown, and so I will use black, and just going to stamp on the very end of this. So let's give it a shot. Hoping it fits. Oh, it barely fits. Well, it doesn't really fit. But anyway, I think that will work. I don't know if you can see that. It's pretty thin writing, but we'll go with it. So we'll set our ink aside and bring our cover back over, and then I think I will stitch this heart on. I've also remembered I had this baker's twine that is pink, so I think I will stitch a little bit into this heart and tie a bow. Yeah. Okay, I found a needle that was already threaded with baker's twine, but it is bright pink, but that's okay. We're going to use this because it is really hard to thread a needle with baker's twine. So I'm just gonna, I think I will glue this little piece of twill tape down with some Fabri-Tac, but it's got gooeys on it, so wipe the gooeys off. I think I'll just glue this end down right here, and then I can stitch that. I can stitch through that little heart and all the way through the twine and the twill tape and the cover, and then I can tie it in a bow or something cute. No, it's not really in the middle, but ugh. Okay, let's tie that in a little bow. Actually, before I tie the bow, I think I will put a little bit of Fabri-Tac on that so it doesn't come untied. Right there on that knot. And then as I tie the bow into it, it will help hold it also. I'm going to tie this, or turn this around so I can see what I'm doing. Oh, come on. Come on, you can do it, little bow. Okay. That is a tiny bow. Okay, there we go. And I think that will do it for decorating my cover. I might put a little bit of Fabri-Tac on those ends also, so they don't come untwisted. And a little bit, ooh, might be kind of a big blob, and a little bit right there on the bow also. Okay, so that is decorating my cover. I think so that this video doesn't become absurdly long, I will come back and show you how I put this onto my cardboard. So I'll see you back soon.